Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to this edition of Bhagavad Gita as it is Bite-Sized Talks. As you know, we give these talks every now and then on the Bhagavad Gita, or rather, they are readings from the Bhagavad Gita as it is. Here at the Hare Krishna Project, we're very enthusiastic about the Bhagavad Gita, about sharing Srila Prabhupada's teachings with the public, and also about distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. As you know, we have a very active and a very busy book distribution program across the UK, where we distribute Prabhupada's books to schools. And as you also will know, we have a preference for distributing Prabhupada's original books. So books authorized by Srila Prabhupada that are pre-1978. So we only read from and we only distribute the original or the 1972 Macmillan edition of the Bhagavad Gita as it is. It's the last edition of the Bhagavad Gita that was authorized personally by Srila Prabhupada while he was physically present on the planet. If you go to our website, the harekrishnnaproject.org.uk, and click on what we do and click on shop, you will find out that we do distribute books to schools, and that in our shop we do have original copies of Srila Prabhupada's books for sale. And when I say original, I don't mean that they're old. They are. Someone asked me recently, why are you distributing old books? They're not old. A lot of them are new, actually, new back from the printers. When I say the original books, they are pre-1978 editions. Okay, so for this edition of Bhagavad Gita as it is Bite-Sized Talks, we are on chapter 7. So what normally happens is I will read the verse from Sastra or scripture. I will read Srila Prabhupada's purport, and then I will talk very briefly on it, because as you know, these Bhagavad Gita as it is Bite-Sized Talks are not about me talking. They're about us hearing from Lord Krishna and us hearing from Srila Prabhupada. Okay, so here we go. I'm reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 7, verse 6. Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna is having a conversation with his disciple and friend Arjuna, and this is something of importance that Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna. Of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world, know for certain that I am both its origin and dissolution. And this is the purport provided by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Everything that exists is a product of matter and spirit. Spirit is the basic field of creation, and matter is created by spirit. Spirit is not created at a certain stage of material development. Rather, this material world is manifested only on the basis of spiritual energy. This material body is developed because spirit is present within matter. A child grows gradually to boyhood and then to manhood because of that superior energy, spirit soul being present. Similarly, the entire cosmic manifestation of the gigantic universe is developed because of the presence of the supersoul, Vishnu. Therefore, spirit and matter, which combine together to manifest this gigantic universal form, are originally two energies of the Lord. And consequently, the Lord is the original cause of everything. A fragmental part and parcel of the Lord, namely the living entity, may by manipulation of material energy construct a skyscraper, factory, or city. But he cannot create matter out of nothing, and he certainly cannot construct a planet or a universe. The cause of the universe is the Supersoul, Krishna, the supreme creator of all individual souls and the original cause of all causes. I find this is actually something that most people can very easily get their head around. And that is that everything has a source. That is a reality. That is a fact, objective as well as subjective, because everyone can see, feel, and experience that everything has a source. Um, Quite often, devotees from the Hare Krishna project, we visit schools. We visit schools to give students, give young people, give children copies of Srila Prabhupada's original books. And we also use the opportunity to talk to young people about Krishna consciousness. What is Krishna consciousness? What are the teachings of the Hare Krishna movement? And this is always something that I like to explain or demonstrate, that we've got everything has a source, because it's really easy for all of us, including young people, to understand. When I give talks in schools, I try, if I can, and break down the message of, or the philosophy of Krishna consciousness into three parts, or the ABC of Krishna consciousness. The A, the first thing we should understand, and we need to understand, is we are not the body. I'm sure you've all heard that before. That is the first basic fundamental teaching of Krishna consciousness, that we're not the body. The body isn't who we really are. We're not male or female or Christian or Hindu or Jewish or homosexual or heterosexual or pansexual or Chinese or Indian or socialist or conservative or liberal. We're not any of these. All of these things are temporary material designations for the time that we find ourselves in now. And even within our lives, our physical material lives, those things may change. Lots of things change. For example, political views might change over time as we get older. Our political views may change. So, I always explain that first to children and young people, and adults, if they're listening, is that A, we're not the body. The body isn't who we really are. B, and I explain that we're eternal spiritual beings. Not that we have a soul, but we are souls. We are all eternal souls. That is our original or true, constitutional, the word that Prabhupada uses, nature. Part two, or the B part of Krishna consciousness, is that everything has a source. Everything around us has a source. So I start with a material explanation. Look at the cars outside the window. Somebody made the car. The car didn't just appear, a kind of a magic trick. The car appears. The curtains next to the windows didn't just appear. Somebody made them. Someone stitched them together. The food that we have on our plates, the food didn't just appear. Some people might think that their mum just made it, miraculously, but no. Everything has a source, and everything comes from somewhere. And so rationally, we can apply that argument to spiritual things as well as material things. If we are truly individual spiritual beings, we must also have a source, a spiritual source. And at this point, I explain to children and young people in school that actually, if you think of all the things that we see and experience, their source is very similar to what they've made. So, for example, if a man and a woman get together and they have a child, the child will be like at least one of the parents in terms of the way they look, the way they behave, their DNA, their genes, their likes, their dislikes, their hobbies, their interests, their preferences. Often something that we can see, an object or a person or something that's been painted, they will be like their source. They're not just from a source, they are similar to their source. And that's the same with us as individual spiritual beings. We are very personable. We have likes, dislikes, hobbies, interests, things that are very unique and intimate to us. Therefore, the source that we are from must also be a personality, someone who's personable, that has likes, dislikes, hobbies, interests. And therefore, rationally, I explain to children and young people and students in schools that our source, the supreme source, must be a person. And that is the supreme personality of Godhead, a term that Prabhupada uses to describe Krishna, the all attractive one. And then part C, or the third part of the Krishna conscious story, is that actually, how do you connect the two? How do you connect A and B? And that is through the process of chanting. In the tradition that we're in, it's the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And the illustration I use to explain the importance of chanting is a very bizarre one, but I'll do it. So I'll pick somebody from the audience randomly without embarrassing them. And let's say there's a teenage boy and his name is Tom. And I say to Tom, imagine that you're down at the high street one day and I see you at a distance. You're very far away and there's lots of people around and you're wearing a red jumper. And if I shout out, red jumper, oi, red jumper, there's probably a good chance that you won't look around or you'll think I'm some kind of weirdo. Why is this guy shouting or chanting or whatever, red jumper? But as soon as I say, Tom, Tom, there's a good chance that Tom is going to look around because Tom's name is very personal to him. It means a lot to him. It's a name or a word that he identifies with or he recognizes. And that is the same with the Supreme Person, Krishna. And that's, in one sense, philosophically, why we say Krishna's name or names over and over again. Now, of course, there's a difference between Tom's name and Krishna's name, a lot of big theological and philosophical differences. But ultimately, we can connect with the Supreme Person by saying the Supreme Person's name over and over again. So everything has a source. Everything comes from somewhere, both materially and spiritually. So, just to recap, we read today Bhagavad Gita chapter 7, verse 6. Of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world, know for certain that I am both its origin and its dissolution. Hare Krishna, Jai Srila Prabhupada.